to our session this afternoon on proposed change to eligibility criteria for designed to earn the Energy Star recognition. And as Maddie said, that this is going to mainly focus on commercial new construction and major renovation projects, not existing buildings, not industrial plants, and not Canadian properties. But we hope that you stay with us and learn about how we are going to recommend criteria to make your commercial new construction projects meet um, more efficient criteria. Next. So today, which we just said, which is the title of the show, is that we're going to talk about the eligibility change and just stay with me for a second. We're going to get there. We're going to do a case study on getting to 80, and that's a hint on what we're going to talk about. Then we're going to do the instructions for submitting comments and to the proposed change and questions and answers at the end. And I forgot to say in my panelist group, I have Cindy Jacobs. She is our chief of Energy Star commercial buildings and industrial plants. Lanaya Thompson, she's Energy Star tools and analytics. And as she said, I'm Karen Butler and I manage the commercial new construction. Next, please. So many of you may or may not be familiar with Design to Earn the Energy Star. So what it is, it's the EPA's national recognition for energy efficient commercial new construction and major renovation projects located in the US. Currently, design projects must meet EPA's eligibility criteria to receive an Energy Star 1 to 100 score of 75 or higher for total estimated annual energy use. Say that really fast. So the word here is currently, and this is what we're going to change. Next slide, please. And before we change, I wanted to just give a few accomplishments for the program over the years. Designed to Earn Energy Star recognition was launched in 2004, 20 years ago. Time goes fast. And over that time, we have over 900 projects that have received the recognition. That's almost 40, that's about 45 buildings a year, which is not so bad. And especially as we move into our new future where we're looking to reuse and recapture existing buildings and renovate them so that we don't have to start from scratch. And then, of course, many of those buildings that have gone on, they've actually benchmarked energy use in Portfolio Manager, and it's about 700, which is about 77% of the actuals that have achieved the certification. And then the next one is about 20% of those, or 27% of those, actually earn a certification, which we'd like to see a lot higher. And after surveying some of those that have been benchmarked, many of them do have scores that they can actually achieve the Energy Star or Design to Earn Energy Star. The next part is the energy and carbon reduction. This part is very important because our new criteria is going to help us reach these goals or exceed these activities. So it says the average CO2 and energy reduction is about 42%. And then those properties or projects with 50% more CO2 and energy reductions, we have about 200. We really want to see these numbers push up. We want to get these numbers up to 60, 70, 80. I believe that Architecture 2030's goals now is probably at about 80% energy reduction and CO2 reduction. So we really want to move the needle, and this criteria should help us do that. And then the top three property types that have received Design to Earn Energy Star recognition are K-12 schools, which work really well because they're prototypical. They replicate themselves. So the information that they learn from doing a school in a county, they can use those data points and help inform the decisions of their next design project. And then office and grocery stores are tied at the moment in terms of the number of recognitions. Next slide, please. Drum roll. So this slide is telling us what the new criteria is. So what we are proposing to do, and we want your insight on, is we want to raise the score for Design to Earn Energy Star recognition from a current score of 75 to 80. So, and again, we want to reiterate that this score increase is only for commercial new construction projects, not existing buildings and not industrial plants. Just have to say that really loudly because I think some people are getting a little excited thinking that we were going to make a score change for those. So why are we doing this? I'm gonna leave this up for a second so you can kind of digest this because this is what we're going to ask you about. So first of all, we want to encourage deeper and innovative energy efficiency measures or strategies to lower the demand for greenhouse gas emissions, putting these buildings on track with the U.S. government's goal of net zero emissions economy wide by 2050. So if we don't get started if we don't make the new buildings efficient and looking at reducing their greenhouse gas emissions, then this inventory comes in already behind the curve. So we're trying to really push people and encourage them to reach higher and be more efficient in these buildings as one of the pillars of decarbonization. So we're increasing the design score above the existing buildings because there are opportunities during design that you can do in terms of strategies, innovations, technologies, et cetera, that will become cost prohibitive once the building is built and operating. And I think some of that is coming to fold now as we're looking into existing buildings and doing things to reduce their emissions and their energy. It's pretty cost. Some of those are cost prohibitive. So we really want to encourage that you make sure you do this in design. Take advantage of design of clean energy strategies and technologies. Increase the energy and CO2 reductions through efficiency, innovative design, passive design, and then also incorporating on-site renewable energy where applicable, which can also help to improve your Energy Star score. And then also providing targets for putting design projects on the path to meet or exceed building performance standards, earning the Energy Star, including our next gen that we're proposing, and then also for other industry standards and goals. Next slide, please. So how do you get Design to Earn Energy Star? What do you have to do? So projects must meet the eligibility requirements to receive the 1 to 100 score from Portfolio Manager or Target Finder tool. And there is a list of property types. And that list of property types I'll show you in a second are things K through 12 schools, bank buildings, etc. And with each of those property types, there are property use details associated with them: size, operating hours, occupants, whether or not the building is heated or cooled, how many hospital beds, and they change based on the property type. So once you get into your property, you'll see these things, and these are the things that are going to help govern what your score is. And then the other one is energy data, energy use data. And that includes all fuel sources, electricity, renewables, natural gas, steam, whatever it is, those data points have to be calculated for the project. Next slide. And this is very critical for new construction. And I'm going to talk about this for a second because when we say you have to calculate estimated energy, total annual energy use associated with, and this is the important piece, operating the building. So this is going to go beyond your code requirements. It doesn't supersede, it doesn't take the place of, it's another data point. So when you're calculating the energy use for your design, you have to include all regulated loads associated with heating and cooling systems, albeit hot water or air conditioner or heating, lighting, fans, etc. And then all non-regulated loads, plug loads, cooking, process loads, etc., which oftentimes may or may not be a part of your code calculations. The reason why you do this is because these numbers that you're going to put in are going to be compared to numbers for operating the building. So if you leave some of the information out, guess what? You might have a great score, but it may not be a realistic score. So just make sure that when you're doing this, you include all energy sources and all processes associated with the building. Next slide, please. And here are your list of space types that are eligible to receive the score and the Energy Star certification. Those with an asterisk beside them, you can receive a score, but right now they're not part of the certification. And I also want you to pay attention to the fact that the word multifamily is highlighted because there's a link underneath of there. And they have different eligibility criteria for their new construction. So when you're doing multifamily, be aware that their criteria are going to be somewhat different. So you want to check into that. Next, please. So getting to 80. So I threw in a couple of these slides in before I get to the part where I show you how to respond to the score change, and to just say that there are strategies for increasing your efficiency and raising your score. Next slide. So this is a case study, and this is an actual project that was done by Mosley Architects, as one of our partners. And they actually went through and did, and I believe that this one is a renovation, a major renovation, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, so they went through and they came up with energy efficient strategies and criteria for this property. And I'll show you some of them in a second. So this project earned a score of 80. They had an EUI, site EUI of 35.2, and energy use reduction 38.1%. You can read the slides. I won't read it all there to you. So what I did is I took this and I took the percent of estimated annual energy, and I also looked at the breakdown between the fuel sources. And in this case, they were using about 68% natural gas, no, 68% electricity, and then what's that, 32% natural gas. So next slide, please. So I created what a median property would look like. And then the one below is their property. And just to show you that if you were looking at a median property, and I'm not going to go into great detail because this webinar is not about this, but I just wanted to just show that you can get to 80 by using energy efficiency strategies, using various fuel sources to get there. So this is just going to be a quick run through just to show you the comparison between the 80 and the median property. And as you can see, there is a reduction in your EUI, your energy use intensity, which is 35.2 for the 88 building, and then it's 56.3. You can also see that your costs go down. The green bar are your costs. The goldenrod bar is your source energy, and then your site is the what color would you call that? Oh, kind of like a rust color. And then, of course, the Energy Star score is your blue, and you can see that that went up, and your emissions is the off-white bar. Next one, please. So they went through, these are some of the strategies that they use to enhance their efficiency of the project. So if you notice, all of these things are going to get an energy use reduction. So in other words, they use low E speculative glazing. In other words, the glazing is not emitting, letting a lot of solar enter into the building, right? So it's keeping it cool, so it reduces the amount of air conditioners needed to keep the people comfortable. On the HVAC system, they have the air cooled DRF system with the DOAS, and then they had high efficiency electric heat pumps, lighting, LED inside and outside, vacancy and occupancy sensors, and then daylighting sensors. Because when they redid the building, they actually introduced more daylighting into the building. Hot water, low flow plumbing fixtures, electric water heaters, and equipment. Of course, Energy Star office equipment and its cooking equipment as well. So these are some of the highlights of things that they did. So then I took this and I superficially imposed an additional increase of, I increased the reduction of energy use. Next slide, please. And so by doing that, I took it and also looked at not only the reduction in energy use or the increase in efficiency. That's what I'm trying to say. I also played around with the fuel sources. So in this application, you have 83% grid and 17% solar, high efficiency strategies and technologies. At the bottom is the one that's natural gas and electricity. At the top is the one with the reduction in technologies and with your change in fuel sources. And as you can see, the score went up by about 3 points. And the most important one, look at the EUI. The EUI actually went down. So your EUI on the bottom is 35.2, and then the top is 27.8 there. And then, of course, you see your cost slightly reduced and your emissions slightly reduced. So just quickly showing you that as you look at efficiency, the deeper you go, it can affect your score, it can affect your EUI, and it can affect your cost and your emissions. Next slide. This is the coup de grace. Oh, no, not this one yet. I have one more. So this is going to all electric or clean energy, grid electricity, high efficiency. And so this one is almost mimicking what the other one was, the previous one, the natural gas one. And it's just really displaying how deep energy efficiency can get you to the score that you want. So you really need to consider efficiency first and foremost, then everything else follows. Next slide. And there's the coup de grace, all electric, 100% solar, energy efficiency strategies. And if you notice, the top two bars are gone. This was modeled or used Portfolio Manager, Target Finder. So in this case, we do default costs. And in this case, the cost went away and then the emissions went away. And if you notice your site and source, EUIs are the same. And of course, your Energy Star score is, we stop it at 100. So these are just some quick comparisons showing you strategies, deep energy efficiency, fuel source changes, things that will get you to 80. And next slide, please. And I'm not going to talk a whole lot here, just let you use your eyes and take a look. I just stacked them all on top of each other, the median, the grid and natural gas, all 100% grid, and then the solar, and then of course the solar and grid, and then the all solar. So you can just kind of get a quick glance at what's happening here. You can see how the scores are slightly increasing, and of course they increase greatly from the median. So that's what this is about. Next slide, please. And before I introduce Lanaya, this is just next one, please. We really want to figure out a way that with this new score change to recognize those projects, those architects and building owners that turn in projects that are 80 or above, and also looking at how do we kind of push this to really getting us to our greenhouse gas emissions goals. And so about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, we had to decarbonize your design challenge. And again, we want to challenge the architects, building owners, developers, engineers to go beyond business as usual and look at ways that we could actually reduce our footprint. Next slide. And now I'm going to introduce Lanaya Thompson, and she is going to walk you through how you submit your comments and the web and where things are located on our web pages, and the timeline for submitting your comments. With that, take it away, Lanaya.
Thanks, Karen. Next slide, please. All right, so I'm just going to overview the public comment timeline. Today, March 13th, the comment portal will be available after this webinar. So it'll be available for you to submit comments just a few minutes after 2. And here is the manual click through on how to get to the landing page for submitting comments. We have a link, and that'll be a hyperlink in the PDF that we'll send out. But if you want to click through manually, this is the path right below that first bullet or the second bullet. And the webinar recording will be available tomorrow. We'll send out an email announcement with a link to the recording and the submission portal, but that will be available tomorrow. And the last day to submit comments will be the 28th, Thursday, the 28th of March. And once we have all of the comments and we are finished drafting responses, we will publish them sometime mid of this year. And we will also send out an email announcement with that as well. So 28th is the deadline, and then mid 2024 is when you can expect us to have finalized responses to comments. Next slide, please. And here's just some language on the landing page. This was also included in the introductory email, but I just wanted to include some of the verbiage that you'll see on the landing page when you click over to. Yeah, I think that's it on this slide. Thanks. And back to Karen to go over the 2 questions that we're going to ask your feedback on.
Thanks, Lanaya. Can you go back to the previous slide real quickly? That one. There at the bottom about the proposed change, watch a webinar recording, submit comments. Those are all going to be hyperlinks. They're going to be live, but because we are kind of syncing this presentation and syncing everything together, we didn't make them live on here, but those will be live links. Okay, next slide, please. Now, these are the questions that we are going to present to you to answer about the proposed changes to the score for achieving design to earn Energy Star. And then more generally, other comments or changes you might see that we should include for receiving the recognition for design to earn Energy Star. Normally, I like to say, for an example, you could say, but in this case, I am going to be mum and I don't want to influence public opinion. So I am not going to give any examples or anything because I really want you all to put your caps on and come up with feedback that we can use to help us improve this or make it better or really help us to get to our goals together. Next slide, please. So with that, we are going to open it up for questions. And Maddie is going to lead us through our question and answer period. Maddie, do you want to start us off, please?